Hi, welcome to today's lesson covering working with text boxes in Microsoft Word. This review is called W5.19 Now, and in it we will use text boxes and graphics to create a collage of current news headlines. Specifically, we will focus on inserting a text box, resizing text boxes, wrapping text within a text box, grouping a text box with other objects. One of the features of placing an object such as clip art, word art, or a picture in your document is that it can be easily moved with your mouse. On the other hand, text that is typed on a line cannot be freely placed in different places on the page. However, when a text box is used, the text contained in the box can be positioned anywhere on the page. Text boxes can be resized and have optional borders. Using a text box eliminates the frustration of having text interfere with other elements on the page, since it can be placed exactly where you want it. Before we begin this exercise, let's first open and save a new Word document into our existing BIM Word folder. So to do that, of course, we start with a brand new file. We're going to save it first, Shift-Command-S. And we're going to go into our BIM Word folder, and I'm going to borrow one of these here. And I'm just going to change the number because what we want is 5.19. And it should be called Now. And then you would put your own last name and first initial. And it's in the BIM Word folder. So we're going to say save. And now we have this one ready to go. Let me make this a little bit smaller so we can see what's going on. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Okay. And then for a view, I'm going to do page width so that I can see the entire page. Okay, so into the header we go. So we created the new Word document. We're going to insert a header simply by double-clicking up here. And I'm going to put in the information here. You're going to put in your own name, okay, whatever BIM period number you have with me. The date, remember the shortcut is Shift-Control-D for date. And then file name, since you've already named it, you can just type in file name, all one word. And maybe that one doesn't want to play today. So let's do this. File name, still doesn't want to play. File name, there it goes. Press enter and it gives us the file name. So I'm just going to come to the end of that, back it up, and be done. Now I'm going to double click in the main space again and hit Command S to save it as it is. And we're going to come down here and insert a new text box. So we're going to click on the Insert tab. And we're going to come over here to where it says Text. We find our text box, draw a text box. And then we're going to go ahead and draw that. So click and drag the cursor to draw a text box, which is what I just did. Now, I can change the outline of this under Shape Format. Notice when I'm out here in the main document, there's no tab here, but as soon as I click on the text box, it says Shape Format. And this is where I can come in and adjust the outline of that box. So right here in Shape, Fill, this one is called Shape Outline. I'm going to come in and make sure it's black. And then I'm going to resize in the same area under this tab. I'm going to resize this text box. It has to be selected 1 inch high and 1.75 inches wide. Okay, that's my text box. So then I'm going to come down here and, I'm going to go ahead and place this right about here. And we're going to create 4 text boxes just like this. And here's a reminder on how to duplicate objects. You can, of course, use your shortcut menu with a two-finger tap on your trackpad or right-click, and you can just say copy. And you can again say paste. That's one way to do it. You can also select it. You can hit Command C to copy. Come out here where nothing is selected, say Command V to paste it. And then of course on your trackpad itself, you select that box. You can press two fingers down and drag it over to copy. So that's just a little reminder there of how to do that. And of course, how to access your shortcut menu. It's a right click or a two-finger tap. So right now, it says go online and find current news articles about the following topics: today's weather forecast, a local news story, a national news story, and a sports story. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to go get articles. So today's weather forecast, I can come online and just say today's weather in Dallas, Texas. And it can be something as simple as this: partly cloudy Tuesday, 59 degrees. So I'm going to come back in here, type in partly cloudy Tuesday, and then I'll say 59 degrees. And by the way, if you want to make the degrees symbol, you can just hit Command 0. Oh, I'm sorry. That was wrong. I'm going to type in 59 again. It's actually Option 0, and it will give you that little dot there. Yeah, why is it not doing that for me? Not it. Yep, it's being a pain. Okay, Option 0. And that will give you the little degree mark there. 59 degrees. That's as much as we need. So that's your text box. So then the next thing is a local news story. So I'm going to come back in here and say, let's see, now breaking news in Dallas, Texas right now. And let's see, leading weather, breaking news, Dallas, Fort Worth. And we can just pick something here. When you're looking for a headline, it could be something as simple as this. You want to avoid things that have links on them. I'm going to go ahead and say, see if I can copy and paste one of these. These are all headlines that are supposed to get your attention. And there's a nice one. Body cam video shows Texas police officers getting sleeping family and pets out of a burning house. I can click on that and probably do well with copying and pasting that headline. So this will be my local news one. And let's see if it works. Doesn't want to work for me. That's nice. Or it just could be too big. So I might come over here. Yeah, that's what it is. So, oh yeah, I don't need any of that going on. Let's just shut that off. And let's go ahead and make this a little more reasonable here. 10, well, Calibri 12 is I think what we're doing. Doesn't need to be bold. You can set it back at what we're used to using. And also, if it comes in with all these spaces, you know that you can hit Option Command M as in mouse and take out a lot of these spaces. So now that is a lot better. I can say X. I can put that into the text box. And if it doesn't fit, you can, once it's in your text box, you can hit Command A to select just everything in that text box and then come back in and hit a smaller font size. And you can just see what works where you can still read everything. So that would be your next local news story. And then you need a national news story. Oh dear. Breaking national news. And we can just pick something from one of the first things that pops up, which is going to be family faces COVID catch 22. Let's find something. Is it even possible to find something not COVID or politically related? So we can just find something that is of national news, and of course, U.S. news, because we're here in the States. Sports, the best MLB 65 years ago today. That's something that could be good. Any of these. I would click on the link and then go ahead and go for the headline. And again, I'm going to hit Command C to copy. I'm going to bring it back to my document. I'm going to paste it because it's going to come in at that size. So once again, I'll bring it back to Calibri 12. Okay, no bold. And then I'll hit Command X to copy it, and I'll put that in my national news box. Okay. It looks like I'm still missing some words, so I'm going to knock that back down to 10 as well. Okay. And make sure that we have periods here. Headlines, yeah, I guess you don't really always do that. So anyway, and then what's our last one? A sports story. So I'm going to come back in here, and that can be anything. Might be easier to find something national breaking sports news. And latest sports news, ESPN. That's a great place to go. And of course, sources, test negative to return Wednesday. Fantasy football, I wouldn't necessarily say that's news, but say we click on just even this first link, and we could say Denver Broncos quarterbacks test negative and return on Wednesday. So that's sports news. I would just take this bit right here, and I would say Command C, go in here, once again, adjust the, oh boy, we don't need all of this. I can just take all that out and then come back in here, Calibri 12, and no bold, and just hit Command X, put it into this text box, Command V, and there I have my 4 stories. So then to keep you from having to do that again, let's go ahead and hit Command S to save. And then we're going to go back in and figure out the pictures that we need for this. So do we have stories? Denver Broncos. So that's really easy. We can just do Denver Broncos. And what you could do is just go to images. And you see you have all these images right here. The most logical one would be to grab their mascot picture. And this is something that you can go in and actually make sure, first of all, of course, any picture you drag in, you're going to have to wrap the text. And I used my shortcut menu by a right click or 2-finger tap, wrap text, and do it in front of your text so it's easier to grab a hold of. You can also, of course, my rule is usually under the picture format to take it down to 1 inch so it's really manageable. And then I can also move it around. So like this, I can move it. And I want my image to be the same width as my news story. So even if you have to move it down here to the bottom of the page, you see that it fits. Okay. And now I have an image that goes with that news story. That one with Rosa Parks, that's a real easy one. You can come back in here. Also, I'm just going to type in Rosa Parks, and it'll pull up some images of her. This is kind of a nice one where she's sitting on, this is very iconic where she was sitting on the bus. So there we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and once again click and pull that one over. And of course, again, it's big. So I'm going to use my shortcut menu, wrap the text to put it in front, and then come up here and make it 1 inch. I hit the tab button to just make sure I have 1 inch. And that way, when I set it down here, make sure it's up a little higher. And remember, I always drag it from the corner so I don't warp it too much. When you click on a picture, you can also use your arrow keys to move it fractions. You also know that if the text box is 1.7 wide, you can click on your picture and do the same thing and make it, as long as this box right here is checked, it will keep the ratio correct. You can say 1.75. And that way you know it's exactly the same width. You only have to position it a little bit to keep it centered. Once you have both of those pictures, you can click on the image, press your Command key and hold it down, click on the title, and go back up to Shape Format and say Arrange. And you will want to group so that these move together. And that is what you want to do for each one of these. Click one, press Command and hold it down, click the next one, and then you'll say Group, and you'll have that ready to go. Continue and finish pictures for both of these. Then you will be ready to save and send it back to Google Classroom. Make sure that you have 4 pictures and 4 text boxes. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.